1 second for your intro.
You've now tuned in to the Drawing Board Podcast, a powerful, thought-provoking discussion where we talk about family, relationships, ministry, community, and career. Let's see what exciting guests we have on our show today. Great evening to the Drawing Board Nation. This is your host and founder, Andre Ebron of the Drawing Board, the book, the Drawing Board Podcast, and the Drawing Board Experience. Like every night, clap it up. Oh, thank you. Praise the Lord. Listen, tonight is extra special. Tonight is, I'm telling you all, I have some of my family up here, and I call them my family because they are my C-Prep family. They are my Cornerstone Cathedral of Praise International family. We go back decades. So I always bring you quality guests that have quality information, and their life is proof positive of the message that they're sharing. And tonight is no different. Tonight I have Dr. Juan Williams here in the show. How you doing, brother?
Hey, blessed beyond measure, bro. Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely, man. And while we're on the introductions, just also want to acknowledge that your beautiful wife, Miss Demita Williams, is here tonight. Yeah, so glad that she is here. All right, the Bible say, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtaineth favor from the Lord.
Amen.
So I know everything we're getting ready to talk about has some of that saucy favor on it tonight.
You already know.
Absolutely. So let the people know tonight about, who you are. So Dr. Juan Williams is the son of Amber Williams and Leon Williams. Juan is a 1999 alumni of Cornerstone Christian College Preparatory School, as well as a 2001 and 2013 alumni of Chosen Christian Beauty and Barber College. Let's pause for a second. We got to take time, and I just want to, I know you can, man. We're going to honor the apostle.
Amen.
Apostle Dr. Oscar J. Dowdell Underwood Jr., the headmaster, the founder of Cornerstone Christian College Preparatory School, the pastor and apostle of Cathedral of Praise International, who has shaped the world through sending his sons and daughters out, and we are the product of Cornerstone Prep School.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so shout out to you, Apostle. We love you, sir, and we're able to do what we're doing today. You prophesied this.
Amen.
You said that we would end up impacting the world for the cause of Christ, that we would shape communities, that we would come together when we're off in our separate professions, and that we would unite because we are possible. So, hey, just wanted to say to you, Apostle, thank you for your labor of love and your sacrifice, which affords us the opportunity to be here.
Yes, sir.
So all the way from Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Yes, sir.
Into now the neck of the woods, the D.
The D.
Man, let me tell you, man. So, Juan, man, you have, we were just talking, and I was saying, man, how literally like 24 years ago, we were in, before the games, before we played basketball.
Yeah.
Man, you were fading me up and giving me the swirl, man. So, yeah, let's talk about it, man. Your time in Fort Wayne and as a barber.
Oh, yeah. So, man, roughly those times, man, I think we had to be I know I had to be probably 13, 14 years old, 12 years old. I know I got started cutting. So, wow, time flies amazingly fast, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I do remember those times, man, even skipping class sometimes, trying to, get people to come into the boys' locker room and cut their hair in between during the lunch period or,
Absolutely.
Carrying on, things like that of that nature. Wow, man, just to look back and to see the growth and how me deciding to take this path in the beauty and barber industry has led me to, to come about doing some pretty iconic stuff. Yep, all for the glory of God.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And so it says, man, that your purpose, his purpose is being fulfilled using your gifts to help people look and feel their best, which empowers them to be their best. Dr. Williams is known and respected as one of Fort Wayne's premier barbers. I can attest to that, absolutely, for years. With over 25 years of experience, Juan is one of the greatest to have ever done it in the Milky Way galaxy. Okay, all right.
It covers a large area, doesn't it?
It does. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so, man, you have started this organization, We Fam Inc.
Mm-hmm.
And, man, you are, I got a chance to watch. I want to say it was with the back to school because you're also the owner of Architects, right?
Correct. That's correct.
And so Architects is the best barbershop in Fort Wayne, Indiana. If you're getting your hair cut somewhere else, all due respect, this is my homeboy. This is my family. He is the best to have done it. I'm watching some of your barbers come up, and I'm watching them post even their own pictures,
Oh, yeah.
and watching the progression and the direction of like where they started to
yeah.
the successes in the details,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Absolutely.
And so, man, I watch one thing that's big for me is the blend.
Oh, yeah.
So that blend is tight. But We Fam Inc., man, I see you with multiple partnerships. But talk to me, man, about the man behind the mission, the man behind the message. Like, what made you want to begin this organization?
Well, from the starting point of me cutting hair at 12 years old and, trying to figure out which direction I wanted to take in life, I knew that I had a God-given ability to be able to cut hair. Like, at that young of an age, my dad did keep me in the barbershop a lot, so every week I would go get my hair cut, and I appreciate that dad as well. That kept my self-esteem built extremely high. But one thing led to another, and upon graduation, it was really a time to think about what it was that I wanted to do. And shouts out to Dr. Link, Dr. Teresa Link at Recalibrated Christian Barber College in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Because at the time it wasn't a barber college in Fort Wayne. So I wanted to be able to, get licensed professionally to cut hair. And Indianapolis was the only place that kind of that really had that type of program where I can get licensed in the state of Indiana. So she pressed hard as my sophomore, junior, senior year in high school to get all the credentials that she needed so that she could be able to open up Fort Wayne's first barber college. And when she did that, I was ecstatic. I was extremely happy about that, and I was able to sign up with her and be part of her first class back in 2000 after my graduation. So, long story short, I made a few decisions in my life that didn't turn out to be to have some of the greatest outcomes that I was expecting, and it led me to a place of solitude. Yep, I was incarcerated for very close to 10 years for a crime that I had committed, and during that time, I found myself cutting hair a lot. I had got into the barbershop because of my experience already and my certifications that I had prior to being incarcerated. So once the compound found out about my skills, they were really pressing for me to get in the barbershop. So long story short, after the time, when the time came, I was in the barbershop cutting hair, and I was able to hone my skills day in and day out. And I really loved it. It was 3 different shifts that you could work in the barbershop world. You was only supposed to work one. I became the number 1 barber and found myself cutting hair all 3 shifts. So morning, afternoon, and evening, I was in there cutting hair, honing my skills. And wow, fast forward that part 10 years later. The type of service that I was providing for those type of individuals, that it kind of kept them calm. It kept people where they normally wanted to act out in other different situations. When they looked at themselves in the mirror, they had more of a confidence, even though we were in what I would like to say one of the worst of 2 places that you could be, either dead or in jail.
Right.
We were actually living in jail, and it was hard. But people were able to keep themselves and keep their motivation up, and it made me feel like I had a sense of freedom every single time I picked up them clippers inside prison. It made me feel like what I was actually living and experiencing, like, it took my mind away from that. I knew physically that I was still there, but mentally I was able to carry myself off into another world that couldn't particularly be locked down.
Yeah, so what I love about what you're sharing, man, is that no matter where you are, that your gift will cause you to rise to the ranks. So
Absolutely.
I'm sitting here, man, of course, all of my biblical background, my foundation is screaming out the story of Joseph, right?
Absolutely. I was about to tap into that.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
And so no matter where he was, as long as he kept the right attitude
Absolutely.
and allowed God to work through his gifts, it caused him to rise to the ranks. And
Absolutely.
so even your gift, man, causes you to bless those who
had made not necessarily the best decisions, but when they got a chance to come to your chair, their humanity, their humanness, their being, their purpose was made alive in that chair. I like to say it like this, man, and this is where, and you can call me funny acting right me, it's okay, is that everybody can't cut my hair, right? Because everybody can't touch my head.
Right.
You know, I mean, I'm just big on that, you know. And so when you get a barber who has a sense of purpose such as yourself, and the barbers who, you know, are working within your program and that decide to partner with We Fam Inc. and changing the lives and narratives of people. Some may have been dejected, rejected. Some just need a better opportunity. Some may not have the means. But if you are partnering with this organization, you're part of a greater mission of not just cutting hair, but also lifting the spirits and the minds of those who you encounter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And being a barber, esthetician, nail tech, or esthetician, most of us have that spirit of serving, you know, to be able to do that, because everybody, like you say, just can't, you know, touch everybody.
Yeah.
But I want to touch back on what you said about Joseph, because I do see myself similarly as Joseph was depicted in the Bible.
Right.
So I know Joseph had his brothers kind of put him into a situation. What I'm really saying is that everything that happens in your life, regardless if you think it to be not good or negative, it all works together for the good.
Oh, yeah.
It says that all things work together for the good. So even the negative situation that you think that you're experiencing is really something that's leading towards your good. So Joseph had his brothers to throw him in the pit to get him started on the path of his destiny. But a lot of times, for everybody out there listening in Radio Land, we do that to ourselves. Nevertheless, all of it still works together for the good. So no matter what situation it is that you may be going through, regardless of how you see it, you need to see it through the eyes of God and know that all things are working together for your good.
Absolutely. What did Joseph tell his brothers? He said, though you intended evil against me, God has worked it for my good. Here's the part that I love it, to save much alive,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah, man. And you are, I saw like the back to school, like I was telling you. And, man, they were shouting out the barbers. And the only thing I heard was architects.
Yes, sir.
What barbershop are you from? I'm from Architects, right?
Yes, sir.
And, man, to see you operate in the capacity of a mentor where you literally are cultivating the potential of new leaders, right?
Yeah.
So we're called to lead leaders, right?
Absolutely.
And, man, to see you doing that. So now, man, break it down for me. I know you talked about self-esteem and how while you found yourself incarcerated, how when you touched those clippers, it brought a sense of freedom because you were able to help people see themselves better. And I dare to say to see themselves as God sees them, right?
Absolutely.
So if you look your best, you feel your best, you act your best. Talk to me about your methodology behind We Fam Inc. and what is the methodology behind it?
So our methodology, PPFF, Project Protocol Potential First. Potential First. Let me see what it says.
Oh,
here.
yeah,
It
no,
says,
go for it.
Yeah, I've messed it up every time. Okay. Project Potential Focus First. So this is a method that was established by Dr. Underwood, Oscar J. Underwood. He uses Dr. Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory when he's explaining this new protocol. Dr. Abraham Maslow was a scientist in the a psychologist back in the 1940s. I want to say 1943, 48 era, but he had depicted a hierarchy of needs in the form of a triangle with your basic human needs at the bottom and the more self-actualization, more that placed at the top. So what he was saying, what Dr. Maslow was saying, is once you have at least 80% of this bottom level secure, then you're advanced enough to move to the second level, which is safety. And then 80% to 100% of that, you're able to move up to the next one, which is love and self-esteem. So basically, once you cover these lower 4 tiers, then you're able to actually enter a realm what they call self-actualization.
Right.
So that was his theory for the longest time. Dr. Underwood, like I say, he uses that when explaining this new methodology, which instead of starting first with your physiological needs, he's saying to start first with your purpose. Starting first with your purpose will then, by default, allow the self-esteem, love, and safety and other physiological needs to come into your life. And he has used that and practiced that with students since 1978. Yep, he's the first Indiana Black Teacher of the Year, 1977. Of course, you know that already. And his theory seems to work correct. And I know that firsthand because it has happened with me.
Absolutely.
You know the history of me growing up through Cornerstone, the bad decisions I made, and the outcome now of what you're seeing through WeFam, through architects, prophetic aesthetics, and everything else that put my hands on is because of the primary focus of purpose. Figure out what your purpose is. Is everyone has a purpose. You wouldn't have breath in your body right now listening to me talk if there wasn't purpose for your life. Because once your purpose is over with, then you're dead. So the fact that you're waking up every single day and have breath in your body lets you know that there's still something that needs to be done. And believe it or not, me and you both can cut hair. I'm not going to be able to cut hair the way that you cut hair, and you're not going to be able to cut hair the way that I cut hair. So even if it's something that you're doing that reminds you of something else that somebody else is doing, nobody can do that thing like you.
Absolutely. So I don't know what it is about like your lineup, the way you line, because you know you line a specific way.
Yes,
It
sir.
is true. And if you're in Fort Wayne, and I'm talking about from personal experience, just bringing that differentiating factor, right? So if you're in Fort Wayne and if Juan cuts your hair, people will know from looking at your haircut that Juan cut your hair. Oh, Juan's your barber. Like no people
Right.
know that. And when you talk about that differentiating factor, and when you talk about Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs and how Dr. Underwood has reversed it or flipped it to make purpose more essential than basic needs, because if you're wandering without purpose, there is no connection. If you're wandering without purpose, you become involved in relationships that don't reflect your potential or your future. If you're not walking in purpose, then it's hard to be able, you'll find yourself conforming to images of someone else because you haven't learned to first identify with yourself.
Exactly.
So here's a great question that I have for you, Juan, is how does one begin to connect with purpose by engaging WeFam Inc.? Like, how do you unlock that? You have a quote here in your literature. You say 100 out of 100 people have purpose, dreams, and untapped potential. So let's just say I'm first engaging as a client. Like, how do you begin to reveal to me, like, my purpose if I come lacking purpose?
Well, God definitely has to tell you your purpose, and you can express some things to me and to barbers. One thing about barbers and beauticians, we have been for centuries cornerstones of communities. So we see people, believe it or not, more than pastors do, and probably more than doctors do.
Oh, I believe it.
So with that collaboration and that gumbo of so many different people, you meet people from all walks of life. So if I'm engaging with someone in my chair, one, because I'm touching you and cutting your hair, I already know that I have some that you're willing to trust me in some type of way. So once we do that and we break through that barrier and we're able to find out different forms of or areas of interest, then I'm able to connect that person with someone else that's already practicing or is well experienced in that field to that person, and they're able to take them under their wings and kind of show them things that they normally wouldn't see if that is the area that they do want to focus on. Yeah, so that's one good method that we do as far as trying to help people realize some strong areas about themselves that they may not have realized that they had.
Absolutely. I believe that the barbershop is the cornerstone of the community. When you talk about cornerstones of the community, no pun intended, but when you talk about pillars of the community, you're talking about like your church, you're talking about your local stores, you're talking about your barbershops, your beauty shops, those things that people revolve their life around, right? And no matter what it is, no matter how much money someone has or doesn't have, they want to look presentable.
Absolutely.
And through WeFam Inc.'s voucher program, we are able to provide. I said we. I'm in this thing. But through your program, you're able to provide opportunities for those who may not have it.
Exactly.
And you're also able to allow people what I believe, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but what I believe, it gives them an opportunity to participate in the spiritual principle of giving.
Absolutely.
And so when you are able to give, you are guaranteed a harvest. That is a principle that heaven and earth could fade away. That, as long as summer and winter, cold and hot, there's going to be seed time and harvest. And so, like, some people call it philanthropy. Some people call it tithe and offering. Some people call it, I just got to, give back to my community. But this voucher program literally allows a customer to come in. Well, before I talk about, like, walk me through it, man. Walk me through it, bro. Like, how do we get involved? How are the vouchers distributed? How do we become community partners? Like, take me from start to finish. All right.
Well, before I do that, Andre, let me plant some more foundation for you with the organization, how the organization got established. So, like you said, with over my 25 plus years of haircutting experience, professionally, I ran into problems regularly that were kind of hitting me financially, and I was trying to figure out, like, what is going on. And what it came down to was I was cutting a lot of people hair that were unemployed, that had managed to get a job interview and had an interview set up later on in the week. But of course, since they were unemployed, they didn't have any funds. So if they didn't have any funds, they couldn't get their haircut. So they would come to me and say, "Hey, Juan, I got an interview on Thursday. I ain't got no money, man, but I think I could really get this job. But I can't go in there looking like this. He got the shabby beard and, hair just thrown all around everywhere." So me being a barber and, that's my passion. So when I see somebody who needs a haircut, it's like I'm looking at them like, "Ooh, I wish I can get a hold of this head." Like, I always want to rectify the problem because it's a problem for me. And if people can direct their anger, what makes them mad, into something positive, then they could probably find the same success with whatever it is that they're going through. But
hold on, wait, unpack that for a second. Let's unpack that, right? Because I connected to what you're saying, but for those who are listening, let's unpack that for a second. So you seeing someone without a haircut is a problem for you. It's problematic, right?
Exactly.
And you have been gifted. You had a natural gift. Then you pursued the technical expertise to fix that problem.
Exactly.
And then you being able to fix that problem or bring a solution, unlock a portion of your purpose, has led to programming, and then God will supply and meet the needs. But talk to me about it. So everybody knows that guy, right? You seen it on Barbershop the movie. My man, like, "Yo, Cal, let me get that cut, bro."
And then you take off running.
Because, but in this case, you don't have to run.
Exactly.
You can actually run to the shop. You can run to We Fam Inc. You can run to, I feel like saying you can run to The Rock, right?
Oh, yeah.
But you can run because you have the technical expertise, the willingness, and the resource. It's a one-stop shop for those who may not be able to take it, to be able to provide financially, but you figured out a program that it blesses the barber and the customer. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. So, okay, so I'm gonna go back to the guy with the that came in for the haircut, the guys that were coming in. So at the end of the week, I basically would notice that my pockets are a little bit shorter than what I was accustomed to. And because of my heart, I did not want someone to come in and ask me for a haircut, trying to better themselves, trying to get a job so that they can better themselves and take care of their family and be a contribution to their community. Why would something that I love doing, why would I not give that to them so that they would be able to do that? So like I say, at the end of the week, I still would notice that my pockets came up a little short. So I was like, wow, if there's a problem, then that only means that the truth has been kind of manipulated a little bit. So there is a solution within this problem. I just have to be able to see what it is. So We Fam came about because of that type of problem, with me wanting to keep my heart pure and to be able to help these people, but still wanting to be able to take care of my family and provide for them as well. So after years of research, maybe about 5 years of research, I was finally able to understand the nonprofit language, the nonprofit world, the 501c3 terminologies. And after I was able to gather all that information and transform that into knowledge, what you're seeing now is 2 years worth of wisdom that has come out of that. So a total of 7 years now, I've been working on WeFam, and it's been quite a journey. It's been really quite a journey trying to express and meet the right people to let them know the idea that I was trying to get out of my head. Of course, you have the naysayers and the doubters, but similar to an airplane, I believe pressure is what takes you to your next level. So if you ever study the airplane and how the bigger the bigger it is, the faster it needs to go. But as fast as it needs to go is equivalent to how much pressure is coming against it. So what it does is uses that pressure to help lift it up, and it gets on another plane field, a plateau almost, and it uses more pressure to help it go until it reaches the altitude and the destination to where it needs to go to. So, wow.
You sound like you wanted to preach right there
No,
for a minute.
I'm not gonna do it.
No, listen. No, I was waiting. I said he going in. Listen, so if you want to read a good book that actually talks about that principle, it's a book by Dr. Bill Winston called The Law of Confession. And so it talks about the law of lift, the law of drag. And so literally that pressure is there not to depress you, but it is to lift you if you know how to propel yourself moving forward.
Absolutely.
So I saw you picked up the pace. There's so many things that I want to unpack in that statement, man. Is that a lot of times, because a lot of people who want to give back to the community had the same problem that you spoke of. So it is, how do I have this passion, and I feel called and led of God to do this, right? But I also have to be able to sustain and take care of my family.
Exactly.
So I don't want to be in a job that doesn't fulfill my purpose. And have my pockets come up short, but then I still want to dedicate time to the community. And listen, we must be honest. When the pockets come up short, it creates tension in places that it doesn't have to be,
Exactly.
right? And it creates all type of stress. But now you figured out. Here's what you did, though, which I love, though, is you did your market research.
Exactly.
And so for those of you who are listening and you're saying, listen, I feel just like Dr. Williams. I have a passion in my heart. I have something I want to do for the community. My pockets are coming up a little short. Your first responsibility is to gather information. Convert that information into knowledge.
Absolutely.
Apply that knowledge so that it becomes wisdom, and then you're ready to serve someone else. Because I say there's three kinds of people in the world. Those who are very passionate but not competent.
Right.
So they run around doing a lot, right? Doing a lot. Most times feeling underappreciated and undervalued because people see their passion and don't understand, right? Then you have the extremely competent, and they about as dry as 20-day-old turkey, right? Where it's like you are a very learned person, but your competency has dulled your personality. There's no passion there, right? So but the connection to that customer base is going to miss because your passion is not tangible.
Exactly.
And then you have the perfect blend, who I'd like to say I believe is the CEO of WeFam Inc., somebody who is passionate and competent, right?
Yes, sir.
So as we move forward, you have a whole methodology on how you engage people so that you're navigating them through a process. I hope those who are wanting to start organizations are listening, is that when you begin to serve people, you have to have a process. You have to have systems in order. You have to be able to lead people to favorable outcomes.
Exactly.
So talk to me, man. You're all across the nation now, brother.
Yeah, we're working hard.
I know, man. I think you were in South Carolina. North Carolina.
Yeah.
You were a lot of different. Where is WeFam Inc.? How can we connect to it? Just for a minute, let's put this plug in because I know people are excited and listening. How can they get in touch with you?
Okay, WeFam Inc. is established. We plan on being national here within the next, maybe 3 to 5 years. So if you are interested in participating, we have 4 different sectors. First, let me tell you exactly what WeFam is. WeFam is a nonprofit organization that builds self-esteem through the offering of beauty and barber services to those who otherwise cannot afford it. And we do that so that we can inspire and motivate them to strive towards self-improvement, education, and success. So through an incredibly impactful voucher card system, at-risk children, veterans, homeless, and those that are experiencing times of hardship are able to redeem free beauty and barber services at participating barbershops and beauty salons that are listed on the back of each voucher. Yep.
Yeah. So explain that voucher program to me again, because there are a lot of barbers right now who are doing what you were doing.
Right.
Telling my man, listen, get up here first,
Yeah.
or
I'm
man,
gonna see if I got
yeah, let
time
me
for
see if I
you.
got time for
Yeah.
you. Man, come back tomorrow, or oh man, listen, I'll be done cutting tonight at about 7:15.
Right.
Man, listen, if you come at 7:30, bro, I'll take care of you.
Yep.
And so like that barber, how can they engage with the program so that they understand? Like, explain that voucher program.
Okay, so like I said, the voucher is to help at-risk children, veterans, homeless, and those experiencing times of hardship. Um, what we do is partner with other nonprofit organizations, youth centers, halfway houses, work release programs. And what we do is establish through an MOU a system of distribution for the vouchers. So if you're registered at a homeless shelter or your local Boys and Girls Club, it's a staff member that is in charge of these vouchers. That once the recipient fills out a voucher request form, they're able to then hand them a voucher, and on the back of that voucher is a list of barbershops or beauty salons that We Fam markets for them for free, for the barbershop and beauty salons, that the recipient is able to then take that voucher into those barbershops or beauty salons and turn that in for a free haircut. So it's free for the client.
Right.
Now, on the voucher is a voucher identifier number. So that's a very vital piece of information for the grooming professional, because what you're going to do is take that identifier number and type that into what we're using right now is WeFam's Cash App. Once you type that voucher number into the WeFam's Cash App, we're able to send you the same funds that we raised through to your Cash App for the services that you provided for the individual for free.
Okay, so A, I don't lose money.
Oh, no.
B, I'm able to empower someone in my community
Absolutely.
who may not have the funds.
Mm-hmm.
And so on the customer end, they get high quality service.
Mm-hmm.
And on the grooming professionals end,
They get more clientele.
They get more clientele and compensated.
Absolutely.
Okay. And
Absolutely.
it gives them also an opportunity to give back.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
So 10% of the actual transaction be donated back to WeFam so that we can help the next child get a haircut. But the good thing about that is that an accumulation of those 10% throughout the course of the year can be also used as a tax deduction.
Oh, man. So you said we're going to go ahead and help you get some money, but pay your tithes.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, that's good. But listen, so
Yep.
what we're talking about is a dime out of every dollar.
Yes.
For you to empower and impact the community. You know how you feel when you get a haircut. You feel empowered. You feel your best. They do these transformations, and I know you've done them before,
Oh, yeah.
where a guy comes in or a young lady comes in, and a grooming professional is able to look at the contour, the shape of their head, if they're really good.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody who's participating. And so if you need, and those who want these kind of services, for somebody to look at your head and tell you, no, listen, you don't need a flat top. No,
Right.
no, you don't. No, you don't need a TWA, a teeny
Right.
weeny app. No, what you need is a fresh fade. We're
Yeah.
going to give you a low fade, But anyway, what I'm saying is, these are consummate professionals, the best in the industry that are doing this. And so this is just a win for the entire community.
Absolutely.
This is a win for the entire community.
And
So,
especially for the recipient, because, they're able to go into these shops that they sometimes, that they want to frequent but just don't have the funds to.
Absolutely.
And they're able to go into these barbershops and still keep their dignity and get their service and respect. Versus, we have great barbers with great hearts that go out actually in the streets and perform the service. But cars driving by, you can clearly tell exactly what's going on. And I know I perform my best services when I'm in my environment that I have specifically set up for what it is that I do.
absolutely.
So that's what I always want to be able to give to my client as well, the best possible service, so that they can see themselves in the best possible light.
Absolutely. If you can see yourself getting up, and if you can see yourself moving, vision is the catalyst
Absolutely.
for change. And so, yeah, I know how it is, man. When you get that fresh cut, you in the mirror, you checking yourself out. It does something for your confidence and your self-esteem.
Absolutely.
And so now, man, let's talk about, man, I'm in education, so I see it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
There are plenty of schools and organizations around that back to school time and even throughout mid-year going into the holidays. So I'm extremely sensitive, particularly like we're going into the holiday season, right? And so people are already have heightened emotions. Some people call it seasonal mood affective disorder. Some people call it stress because of they start looking at what they can or cannot do. They start cutting back on certain things, taking certain risks financially just to try to provide what is ideal or the narrative that has been told about these holidays.
Right.
And one of the things that I see is haircuts a lot of times around these seasons go neglected because the parent, is trying to do something greater than, what they feel at that moment. But I have seen it's something about that smile, Juan.
Yeah.
When somebody sits in that chair
Oh yeah.
and you give them that teardrop mirror. I don't know if that's the right name for it, but
that's what it is.
That teardrop mirror.
Yeah.
Boy, you see yourself good, you know, and to watch a kid's whole life change.
Yeah.
And I've heard kids in my school, after a kid come back, they say, whoever cut your hair brought you back to life.
Yeah.
They brought you back to life.
Yeah.
And, man, listen, I wanted to applaud you. But, man, let's get into some of these statistics, bro, about what's happening with the McKinney-Vento Act. Because that's big in Detroit as well. Well, it's nationwide, it's national. But, I know particularly because I work for DPSCB that we're looking at maybe minimally 30 or more families within inside of each school that are homeless or qualify for the McKinney-Vento Act.
Absolutely. So since 1987, the federal government has been keeping up with children that don't stay with their parents. So if you have a child that's living with an uncle or friend or another family member, then they consider that child to be homeless.
Right.
So there are over 2.5 million cases of children right here in the United States that are experiencing trauma like this. They're being bullied at school. They're at risk of not graduating or being promoted or, just achieving other educational related goals. And we we love the kids. We definitely have a primary focus on them because they are the future leaders for, the world. So we trying to take away some of the distractions at school as far as bullying because, if kids don't want to go to school, then of course they're not going to be able to turn in homework. And if you're not turning in homework, then of course you're not 95% of the time not going to pass the test. So if you're not passing the test and you're not going to graduate from high school, it's like an avalanche effect of things that could happen if you do not go to school and graduate. So we're trying to take those kids and kind of put them on a path where they actually can see themselves. I really don't like telling kids, hey, you can be this or you can be that, but every time they look at themselves in the mirror, they're reminded of someone that they don't want to be like.
Absolutely.
So it's like we want to get them in the chair. We want to get them involved in community barbershops to know different people. I know some people that may have killed each other had they not said, hey, I remember you. Yeah, I met you in the barbershop. Oh, yeah, I know you stepped on my shoe, man. Go ahead. We good. I know you all right. You know what I'm saying? It's just being able to bring people together, especially our youth, to be able to allow them to see themselves differently and the next kid as well.
Yes, you bring up a very interesting point, and it is almost like the apex, what I believe, of all educational opportunities, all community opportunities, every organization is relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is definitely the haircutting service for them to have a greater appearance.
Mm-hmm.
But I think even more profound than that, it is the relationship that is built between that barber and that customer, that client, or that child that gives somebody a chance to say, hey, I see the greatness within you. Or as you say, I see your purpose.
Yeah.
I see your dreams. I see your potential. And if there's statistically, I couldn't give you the exact statistic, but it says the more adults that a child has in their life that's positively influencing them, the greater likelihood that they will succeed.
Mm-hmm.
And some of that is just would be common sense. If I have more people pouring life into me,
Of course.
then I have the opportunity to, succeed in a greater measure.
Mm-hmm.
But man, you're saying here with that McKinney-Vento, I think that we hear numbers so often.
Mm-hmm.
I think we just need to picture the faces that goes with that number.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about 2.5 million little faces. You got to picture that now. You got to picture Khalil. You have to picture Tyrone. You have to picture Johnny. You have to picture Caleb. You have to picture Sarah. These are not just numbers. These are children.
Mm-hmm.
And so partnering with WeFam Inc. will allow you to see those faces smile again, will allow them to have an outlet within the community where they feel safe, where they feel accepted, where they feel loved, where they feel free. And so your partnership has the opportunity to change the lives of children by not just making them feel good, but to affirm within their spirit that they are good.
Absolutely.
Because when God made them, he looked at them and he called it good. So, yeah, we had that moment, man. Some of your partnering organizations, who are you partnering with? Who has the honor, to partner and stand along with you, man, in this purpose?
Yeah, we're trying to reach. Of course, we love the youth organization. So immediately, the Boys and Girls Club in Fort Wayne. Joe Jordan over there is doing.
Shout out to Joe.
Yeah, absolutely, wonderful job with what he's doing with the kids and preparing them for their future. We also have Greta McKinney at the Martin Luther King Montessori School.
Oh yeah, Mama McKinney.
Oh
hey, Mama Greta. Yes.
Yeah. So we also have some wonderful people at the YWCA that we partner with. They take care of women and their children.
Yes.
And also men. We have the Courtyard also that's on there with Dr. India Stevens.
Okay. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah,
Dr.
another great woman. They deal with foster care people that over the age of 18 and under the age of 26.
Okay.
They're able to take them in during that time period with their children to kind of help further assist them in the goals that they're trying to achieve in life. And then we also have a company called Acre with Stephanie Martin, what she's doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what's crazy is, Steph and I we were in kindergarten, first grade together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I never knew that. Okay,
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, she's another excellent woman that's helping convicted felons find, job placements. She kind of giving them training similar to what Tony Hudson has going over at Blue Jacket. He's another one of our partners. They kind of give on-site job training, interview skills, and job placement. Tony at Blue Jacket always also provides clothing.
Okay.
So once you complete this program, you're able to get 2 or 3 different suits and shirts and ties, to help you go to your interviews and while you're working. So to be able to provide beauty and barber services for these organizations, kind of put the cherry on top of the cake for them.
Absolutely. Yep. And so I love operating by that expert model of collaborating based upon our strengths, right?
Absolutely.
And here's what's really great about it is a lot of our organizations, even the organizations you named, we end up serving the same demo, right?
Right.
So the young people or the women and children that are at the YWCA may need to connect with MLK Montessori because they have children that need that education. And, of course, they need to connect with you all so that they're presentable, they're ready, and the more connections that they have, the greater. If the father is involved, Blue Jacket is there to provide. So, these are what we call that wraparound approach, right?
Absolutely.
Where you all are building. There was an organization in Dallas called the Community Cloth.
Okay.
And within the Community Cloth were all of these partnering organizations that if a person came in the center of that organization, that whatever need that they had could be facilitated by anybody at the table.
Absolutely.
And so I love what you're doing, man. And I love the fact that I actually, as your brother, man, get a chance to, see what God is doing in your life. Now, you did a 50-50 raffle this
Oh,
last
yeah.
Friday or
Oh,
something like
yeah.
that? Okay, all right.
I love
So,
the 50-50 raffle.
Right, so the 50-50 raffle. Talk to me about that.
So the 50-50 raffle, what we do, we collect donations for raffle tickets throughout the course of the week.
Okay.
And every 50-50 Friday at 7 o'clock, we do a live drawing from the infamous barber pole tumbler.
Okay, I saw it. I saw it. Listen, go to WeFam Inc. On Instagram right now. You'll get a chance to see the imagery of it. Go there right now.
Or we had WeFam Inc. on Facebook as well.
Amen.
Yep. So we collect all the raffle tickets throughout the course of the week, and we take them and we dump them into the infamous barber pole. And then Friday at 7 o'clock, we reach in there and grab one out. And for example, if we collected $1,000 that week through raffle ticket donations, the winner, the person that holds the ticket that matches the one that we pull out is able to win 50% of that pot, and the other 50% goes to the organization so that we can help children through beauty and barber services build their self-esteem. Yep. So last week I think we totaled out close to $600.
Okay.
Yep. So that was pretty good for our first round, and I'm interested in seeing what happens this Friday. So you don't necessarily have to be present or in Fort Wayne in order to obtain tickets. We work through the Cash App as well.
Oh no, I was listening. Yeah, I heard you say the Cash App. I was like, oh yeah, I'm in this Friday.
Yeah. So we're able to receive donations through the Cash App, but the gravy thing about it is we're also able to pay through the Cash App as well. So
Absolutely.
Friday at 7, you take a picture of your ticket and stick it in the comments to match up with the ticket that I showed, and you have your bankroll on the way.
Absolutely, especially on a Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, you got some discretionary income. And make sure, now listen, he didn't say this, and I'm not saying you have to do this, but you go ahead and pay your 10%. Make sure you get it back to the organization now. Go ahead, a dime on a dollar. Turn
That's all this is.
All right? No, but in all seriousness, man, like to watch, I remember growing up in Fort Wayne, and sometimes when I come back home, the Fort Wayne that I knew is a distant memory because of a lot of different things. Innovation, change, the way the community is like on the rise. And somebody asked me a question when I was home, like, what did I feel, like looking at the community and sometimes how we're talking about youth responsiveness and all that kind of stuff. And I said, man, actually, I believe somewhere between the next 5 to 8 years, man, that you're going to see Fort Wayne, Indiana kind of resurge because there's such a hunger and a cry for those with a pure heart to serve. And I think what we're seeing, man, is so many transitions in leadership that allows for integrity to be the leader, right?
Yeah.
And this is not just in Fort Wayne, but major cities across. But I'm definitely, man, seeing like in the next 5 to 8 years, WeFam Inc. man being such a pillar in bringing that change to the community of Fort Wayne.
Absolutely.
And I like to talk straight up because that's the only way that I know to be. And so Detroit and Fort Wayne are so, in a lot of ways, so inextricably bound that for the fabric of Fort Wayne actually began to change when a lot of people from the D who weren't they were getting it how they lived. They were came down and kind of set up shop, in McCormick Park Apartments where my aunt lived, Eaton Green, right there over by the Y. And the fabric of how violence began to change. And what I saw when I went back is I saw the undoing of some of those things. Some things take decades to change.
Right.
And so what I saw, man, and how the change was coming to the South Side and people were moving out and things like that, like, man, I was happy.
Yeah.
And here's my call to, Fort Wayne. What you see happening in WeFam Inc., man, is where it's at. Collaboration, connection, and I was looking for another C, can't think of it, but go ahead and just collaborate and connect because lives are being changed, man.
Absolutely.
And if you can't, hear it from a young man who was getting his hair cut by Dr. Williams close to 23, 24 years ago, sneaking out of recess to go get a fresh fade and that swirl. You know about that swirl part?
Swirl.
You can't
I
really do
remember
that
it.
now because I did it like a not too long ago. But when
I think I
your
say that.
Yeah, when your hair starts to do, your hairline started to do black flips, you can't do a part down the middle. You got to hit like the part on the side or
right.
something. All right. When you know you got to start leaning forward in pictures.
Right.
No, but
I want to give another shout out to the mayor, Tom Henry of Fort Wayne, and also to my guy, Irick Headley with Fort Wayne United. Yeah, they're also doing an excellent job with the 10-point coalition that they're running in Fort Wayne to help kind of deter some of that violence and other things from the southeast side of Fort Wayne in the 46806 area code. Yep, so big ups to them.
Oh, big ups to them. And I also want to take this time now to acknowledge the power sponsors for We Fam Inc., Sweetwater, Music Instruments and Pro Audio, and Chuck and Lisa Surak.
Absolutely.
And also want to shout out to, of course, I gave them a shout out earlier, but near and dear to my heart, Ambassadors for the Kingdom of God, Apostle Dr. Oscar J. Dowdell Underwood Jr. with Cathedral of Praise International. And here are some other supporters: Community Foundation of Greater Fort Wayne, Parkview Health, and Anthony Medical Associates. So we want to make sure to shout out to our power sponsors. This would not be possible without your contributions of love, without your contributions of finance and support.
Absolutely.
So we're closing out here soon. If people are looking to be power sponsors, which they are, if people are looking to be partnering organizations, which they are, if people are looking to be beauty and barber professionals that partner with We Fam Inc., which they are, if people are listening to me and you know, because when I called out those names of those children, there were some names that came to your head right now, and you're saying that child needs to be able to engage with We Fam Inc., and you are, how can they participate in all of those things again, Juan?
I'll give you several forms of contact information. One telephone number, 260-418-6528. I'm always available for phone conversation, building, fellowship, anything of that nature. You have email at wefaminc@gmail.com. And then also check out the website, and it has some protocols for you to follow through the website at www.wefaminc.org.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Excellent.
we do have several levels of involvement, like you were saying, as far as if you were looking for a sponsorship. What we do have a couple perks for people that do sponsor. We're able to advertise their business logo on our vouchers to let the barbering industry and beauty industry, and as well as the community, know their involvement and support with the organization and their care for the community. We also have a level for nonprofit organizations to be able to get involved, where we can establish a system of distribution of the vouchers so that we can start providing these type of services for the people that they are currently serving. And then if you're a grooming professional, barber, beautician, nail tech, or esthetician, there's a process that we also go through that we can get you registered to be able to start processing these vouchers and accepting new clients, and building an honest career.
Absolutely. So I want to, Juan, because these are some of your participating barbers in Fort Wayne, go ahead and give them a shout out now, and the beauty salons as well. So first, Architects Barbershop. Now we know what time it is, right?
Oh yeah.
Jarrell's Barbershop. Did you know Jarrell's actually my cousin?
Oh man, good guy.
Yeah,
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, man, that's my cousin on my mom's side.
Okay.
Yep.
Shout out to Jarrell.
Yeah, shout out to Jarrell. Unity Barbershop.
Foundation.
Yes, sir. Turning Heads Barbershop.
Yeah, Mike Gasson, another pioneer, all pioneers.
All right. Above Average.
David Turner and them.
Yeah. Blackbeard.
Yes, sir.
Magnificent Cuts.
Yeah.
Immaculate Cuts. Agape Cuts and Styles. Precision Cuts. 2K Tight. Did I say that right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, 2K Tight.
Trey Cato.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Oh,
All right, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Big Time Barbershop. Premium Cuts. We Got You Faded. So those are the barbershops participating. Now the beauty salons. Sensational Salon. Struttables Hair and Nails. I guess you can strut, right?
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
okay. Jabi, is it Jabi?
JB's.
JB, okay. JB's Hair Studio. Optimistic Enterprise.
Another pioneer in the game, Veronica Towns.
Okay. House of Beauty, House of Nico, Central Studios, Zeta's Health and Wellness Beauty Boutique.
Zetas.
Zetas, okay.
Shout out to you, Zeta.
Okay, Zeta, shout out. All right. Zeta, I don't know what you got going on there, but it sounds like you can cook. Like I could also get something delicious to eat from Zeta.
What she do the TLC?
What's that?
The tea, the herbal tea and the health and wellness products that they have.
Okay.
Yeah, so she has that established in her beauty salon as well.
Oh, she does.
Yeah,
Hey,
where you
listen.
can go there and get the products and stuff. Yeah, so
Okay.
she's definitely big on the health. Yes, sir.
Okay, I didn't know that. So you're gonna get me together, make sure I shed some of these pounds.
Hell yeah.
Wright's Choice Hair Quarters, Hair Rejuvenation, Restoration Clinic, and Prophetic Aesthetics.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
And the owner there is none other than your Mrs., your bride, your queen.
Yes, sir.
Miss
Mrs.
Demeter
Williams.
Oh yeah, shout out. She's in the building, guys.
Oh yeah,
She's to the left of the camera. She says she doesn't want to be on camera, but I definitely want to shout her out. So, Wine Man, listen, this has been the manifestation of what God was to promise. The work that you're doing, man, is changing lives. I continue to reiterate that. And as we part, man, I just want you to join with me. Let's go ahead and spit, follow your dreams, and that'll be the last thing that we're spitting, man. Go ahead and throw it in the air.
Yes, sir.
Here we go. Follow your dreams. Take one step at a time. Don't settle for less. Just continue to climb. Follow your dreams. If you stumble, don't stop. Keep your eye on your goals. Press on to the top. For only on top can we see the whole view. Can we see what we've done and what we can do? Can we then have a vision to seek something new? Press on and follow your dreams. As I always say, Dr. Juan Williams, thank you for coming on, sir.
Thank you for having me.
And I always share with the Drawing Board Nation, your future is not behind you. It is not before you. It is within you. And I'm Andre Ebron, the host of the Drawing Board Podcast. Oh, good stuff, man.
Man, absolutely wonderful,
Yeah,
bro.
man, thank you.